Hello, I'm Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live. I have a very interesting guest. Very, very interesting. In fact, this person was my guest in April of 1989. He was the fourth guest with an Oral Gibbs Live. You meet my guest after this words. The Windward Islands Bank in Phillipsburg, for all your banking needs, is a Windward Islands Bank. So Windward Island Bank in Phillipsburg, in Cul-de-sac, and also in Simpson Bay. That's the Windward Islands Bank for all your banking needs. And also GEBE, or Local Water and Electricity Company, GEBE, for all your electricity and water needs is GEBE, serving St. Maarten for over 6 decades. And with me here, the one and only Mr. Mr. Julian Rollocks. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I would like to wish your viewers a wonderful day and a wonderful ending of the year, because that's where we're going now. We're going down to Christmas. I want to wish them a wonderful ending of the year. But as you know, I was ill a few years ago. I had a stroke, but as a matter of fact, this afternoon I'm swimming. We swim with Les Brown 3 times a week.
Wow, that's good.
I walk twice a week. I go to the gym once a week.
Uh-huh.
It takes a lot of work to recover, a lot of work. But one thing is sure, you're not going to get age for free.
Oh, boy, that's true.
You're going to get it one way or the other. So if this is what I got to carry, I would carry it with pride.
Well, life is so difficult sometimes. It's still good. My mother always tell me that you never finish grow in a way.
No.
And once a child, twice, once a man, twice a child. But she also tell me you can always get injured or what have you throughout your life. So you have to accept it. It's very difficult sometimes because I know growing up how it was. And I have to say, at least that you're looking great.
Thank you.
I remember when I had you on this program in 1989. We were both young men.
Little boys. Back.
We were both young men, but it was a different time in St. Maarten, right?
It was a different time. St. Maarten has grown, has changed drastically. We have left an island where we scrabble rocks, salt, twigs to build this country. I heard someone speaking some days ago who carried rocks to build the airport.
Wow.
With their truck, they carried rocks to build the airport. And today, like the pair, like GB, like many of our corporations, they're too good for us. Suddenly, you hear that the airport has to be run by someone else, a European. The harbor has to be run by this one, and so forth. While we built this country, nobody else could say it. And we must give Dr. Claude Watty his laurels, because, God bless his soul, if he was here, he would have been in his 80s, this country would have been different. Because the things that the young people are tolerating, the things that the young people are turning their back to, Claude would have never done that. And we now, I would say, the last generation after Claude, because there are children now that are our children's children, that if you say Claude Watty, they don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But we knew the man personally. St. Maarten is still a wonderful country. I was born here. I love here. I will die here. I want my bones My wife is from Curacao, and I tell her, I want my bones to be buried here. I don't want to be recremated. I want my bones to rest in this country. I might sound like a man 90 years old, but I'm just 66. but life is life, and tomorrow is not ours. And as things go, you try to go with it. St. Maarten went through a lot of developments. And as I said, there are certain areas of St. Maarten Europeans want to own as theirs. There are certain businesses in this country Americans want to own as theirs. We, as a local people, got to fight and fight hard to get a piece of this country.
But let me ask you, because when you look at St. Maarten, when we grew up and you went to Holland to study.
That's correct.
And I went to the United States to study. And we came back. And I think of most of the guys that went away to study, and this is the first time I'm saying this, I think you and I were the most radical in a way. You laugh. There's a reason why I put that let me put that into perspective a little bit for you.
Yes, please.
Because we came back and we challenged the system.
Yeah.
And we both went into business too for ourselves. And not many did that at the time.
No, when we got back in the 80s, going on your own was a novum. Starting something on your own is like you're a crazy man.
Mm.
You went on radio and started a brand new radio talk show. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Well, I started television for us, actually.
The television started first.
Yeah.
Speaking of everything.
Right.
That show is going to go down into the annals of our history because...
Oh, it's coming back, by the way.
It's coming back.
It's coming back on 99.9 FM, hot 99.9 FM. Wow. And we're also going to share some of the old interviews I did. I have all of them.
You know something about you, Arl, that I admire so much. I don't know how you do it. You have an enormous file here, and you keep it. You know where to find everything. You know where to find everybody. I ain't gonna ask you how you do it.
Not with the television part. With the television, I have to digitize all of them. I give up. It's too much work. I have footage for the next 3, 5, 6 years, continuously running if I have to. Yeah.
It is remarkable. The only next person I think I could compare with you, I think, God bless his soul, Arturo used to put up a lot of stuff.
Dwight Barron.
Dwight Barron.
Yeah,
we got to give him his
his content is well documented. I think better than I am.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He have all the time. I don't have the time to document all those things. Yeah, Dwight is incredible.
Yeah, because sometimes you bring on some things that say, where I would dig up that from, man. No, but we got to give the people do what is theirs. Dwight has done an awesome job back in his day. According to a friend of mine, these programs today are worthless. 100 years from now, when we're all gone, the generation around then would like to know who was this Arl Gibbs? What did he contribute? Who was this Mr. Julian Rollocks? We hear his name every so often. What did he contribute? Our legacy is important. At this point of our lives, what we leave behind, what contribution we made, is extremely important. Because the problems that we have, and that now I'm going to touch on, the problems that we have are generational, which means next year, 2023, I came in 1983. I'm going to be 40 years in this country. And I could go back to when Ralph Richardson used to close down my shops, to Vroomy trying to stop us from building a house in Point Blanche a couple of months ago.
So that's a span of what, 30-something years, huh?
Almost 40 years.
Yeah, right.
Before my son was born.
Yeah.
These are sad occasions.
You ever thought that will happen, that your son will have to go through that now?
No, well, he never thought so. That he would have had to fight Europeans for him to live underwater. We built the house. We've been through a lot of problems. We were getting financing from Banco de Caribe. Mr. Fennings from the neighborhood took some documents from one of the Dutch consultants, carried it to Banco de Caribe. They stopped our financing. We got to be very thankful to Windward Island Bank that said they did all of their due diligence, and this is a bankable situation. And along with some of my money, we finished the house. And I'm proud of it. I'm going to give you a special invitation to come over there to have at least a glass of water.
Well, it's good. I'm glad that at least you're finishing. That's good.
Yeah, because when you pass 66 and you're going up to 70, that's the last quarter of your life. And a lot of things that you haven't accomplished, you just saying, so the next generation got to do it.
Yeah.
I did my part, and I believe, given credit where credit is due, where the media is concerned, you have done your part, without a doubt. I mean, I'm sure you could pull me up interviews with Vance James, with Marty, with all of the old timers.
Yeah.
And it's important today that young people, our children, remain focused. They got to be extremely focused. I got to congratulate you with your 3 daughters that are professionals. One is a lawyer, one is the doctor, and the other one is a
psychologist.
A psychologist?
Yeah.
Okay. Your 3 daughters are well accomplished, and I'm always talking of it because I wish more of us were like that, because the wings to the future is education. Okay? My son finished his school. He's helping me. We are building another set of apartments.
That's very good, but your son is doing that. He's working with you. And all of that.
He's working with me. I make him one day taste the concrete. we were putting up a building, and I tell him, man, do this. Just taste it. I said, Daddy, what kind of craziness you doing? I said, taste it. He tastes the concrete. He said, but Dusty, I said, let me tell you something. He was 33 or 34 then. I told him, if you go into real estate at this point of your life, you'll be a multimillionaire when you're 50 years old. You just got to know how to bank and build.
Right.
Bank and build. And I must give credit to Don and Leroy de Weaver that taught me a lot in that business. And as you know, building is where it is.
Yeah. But it's become so difficult now, so expensive and everything else.
Oh, man. Ara, let me put it this way. We in a little room here. let's say 3-4 meters by 4 meters. If I gotta build this room, build it, block by block, I can't rent it for a reasonable price. I got to rent it for $500, $600, $700, $800. You have no choice, because the cost of material, the cost of labor is extremely expensive. So it puts a pressure on Dutch and French government. They got to produce housing for the public.
Yeah.
Because the private sector is not able to do it. It's just not that they don't want. Everybody would like to build apartments and rent and make some money, but it's just not affordable. Material is expensive, and it's going to get more expensive because, as you know, with the war, with all the developments in the world, things are only going to get more expensive.
I know you have the radio program, Strictly
Business. Right? That's correct.
And you talk about business, and you are, I'd say, a pioneer in the supermarket business. You spoke about coming back and washing cars, starting off from very small. How you see Maarten today compared to when you returned in terms of business?
Let me put it this way. Would you accept an invitation to Strictly Business?
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Okay, you know you got it coming. Committee on Radio and Television. Yeah, because I would love to see Errol on the other side of the table. If a young person come to the island now and wants to start, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because nothing is. But it's going to be very, very difficult. You see, because the world has changed, Aaron. Aaron, if I want this bottle of water and I don't want to buy it locally, I go on Amazon. I go to Amazon, I wait, how long? 2 days? Max. And I got it. And that's a competition that they are up against. We didn't have that. We didn't have that competition. Our competition was next door. So our children got to be very innovative. They got to be with the times. They got to be computer savvy. They got to be very, very, very up to date with how electronics are moving in the world today, because that's going fast. But yes, they still can make it. They still can. But it's not easy, because one of the major problems we have on the island are too many of our own fighting our own still. I had it, as I said, starting with Rav Richardson, the former governor, who used to close all my shops, I think for fun, but wouldn't sign my license. And today, children younger than Rav, the next generation, are giving my son problems. So it's a generational problem. It's a dangerous thing.
Because you have a very young government right now. Of the majority of them, are average age is 38 years, something like that. Average.
You see, I think I put the hammer on the nail. We would have hoped that this generation would have been different. But this generation of government, being young people, have two major problems as I see it. One, the know-it-all attitude. Two, the get-rich-quick attitude.
let's go back to the I know it all attitude, because I remember when I came back from studying in America, I felt I could change the world. Isn't that something that most young people are prone to?
What is that?
As a young man, I felt like I could change the world when I came back. And
Oh
I
yeah,
think
but
most
you
people,
know, I could have. I think I could have carried the world on my shoulders. I was Mr. Atlas. I went up to Peter's College and I turned up the whole place.
So that's what I'm saying. Maybe.
Yeah, but I was always prone to listen.
Okay.
That was the difference, Arul. Arul, you went to Mullet Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I worked at Mullet Bay as a duty manager, and
Okay.
yeah.
And if you didn't listen, you couldn't stay there.
Exactly.
Because you had to listen to protocol, you had to listen to their directives in order for the company to continue to grow. Today, too many young people know it all. You don't know it all. Believe me. When I was 27, I really thought I'd know a lot. I didn't know nothing when I was 27 when I got back here. Right now I'm going to be 67, and I barely know a little bit. Okay? What am I saying? Listening is very, very important, because I used to tell my students, if you don't listen, you can't learn. If you're in my classroom and you're talking disturbing, I'm throwing you out of my class. Our young people don't want to listen. Our young people have these big egos, very, very big egos. Know-it-all attitude, big egos, and as you can see right now, and we don't have to get political, the whole situation is extremely messy. Extremely messy. There's no order, you know. We've lost some good men a little too soon, I think. Men like Hippolyte Richardson, who was a genius, as you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
Hippolyte was a
Oh,
genius.
he's incredible guy.
When it comes to land,
And he was so humble, so quiet.
extremely humble man. And that's one of the things I'm going to come back to. Hippolyte was humble, extremely intelligent. We had Hannah, we had Mervyn Scott, help me. We had Sam Hazel, God bless their souls. All humble men. But the machine was working. Government was working. We could say what we want about Claude and the government and the this and the that. We're not doing it no better. We add bureaucracy, yes, but is the poor man any better off? No. Because there's no one that they could walk up to and say, good morning, sir. I need a piece of bread for the children. Or could you help me with a job? They're going to send you to an office, they can give you a form, or they're going to give you a website, and then you go on a website and apply. And it's very disheartening for our people.
Let me just remind my audience that my guest is Mr. Julian Rollocks. He's a very prominent businessman. I say one of the pioneers. Mr. Rollocks is also a former commissioner and political party leader, educator, and he also have a radio program called Strictly Business, and he's my guest here on Oral Gives Live.
And last but not least, I've written my own book.
And now, author.
Yes, right. Yes. I'm busy with the second book now.
Right. Exactly right. In fact, I was interviewed for your second book.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
So hopefully, I can't wait for it when it comes out.
Oh, that should be interesting. Because a wonderful chapter in that book is going to be the various opinions of this Rollocks You know, what did you think, Harold Gibbs? What did you think, X, Y, Z? So, coming soon.
All right. Yeah, so you speak about all the things that we had in the 80s, the 90s, the great political leaders and businessmen. I can think of people like Charlie Flown and so forth. But you look at St. Martin today, and I'm scared. I'm worried for this generation,
Dead
man.
scared. Yeah, you got to be dead scared. But tell me what you scared of.
I'm even afraid to say it. I mean, it's that bad. And I speak privately with my family about it.
Right.
And I'm afraid to even say publicly because our people don't oftentimes want to hear the truth.
That's true.
And sometimes we pretend that everything is okay. And this is a beautiful, I love St. Martin. This is where I was born.
I wouldn't live nowhere else.
But I see danger on the horizon for our people.
I couldn't put it better. There is a lot of danger on the horizon. Why? As I said, suddenly St. Martin has become too good for us.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, the top manager or the top honcho is somebody from somewhere else.
Never used to be like that at all.
No. Let me just take Mother Bay as an example.
All local managers.
All.
From the top to the bottom.
I mean, you had Michael Ferrier, you had Keith Franco, you had
Charlie Myers.
Charlie Myers. I mean, Roy Solomon, Peters.
Lupita's old man. He was the backbone of Mother Bay. Lupita's was the man who was hiring all St. Martin people.
That's correct. You know, so but today, 30, 40 years later, it has changed. People are bringing their own in. We are swarmed by Chinese groceries that aren't hiring no local people.
They're not hiring locals though?
No.
Oh.
Because they had an ad some time ago in the newspapers. We are looking for workers, but they must speak Chinese.
I'm speechless. I can't believe that.
Come on. Yeah, but my problem is, I being in government would call in those people and ask them if you could explain me what does this mean? Are you opening a business in St. Martin or are you opening one in China? Okay? The thing that makes you scared, the horizon. Your daughters, my son, and a number of others are highly qualified children. They've all been university scholars. And if you got to hear the individual stories that these young people had to go through to get a break in this system, it shows you, it gives you a taste of 10 years from now.
So how could it be that you live in a country that every 4 years and it's an election? In the last 12 years, we've had elections more than every 4 years. This is the longest government we've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
But they come to ask you to vote for them. And you know this better than me because you run a political party, you work with politicians in Curacao also. But after the election, we sit back and we watch others get their business license quick, get their all kinds of documents very quickly, and then we have to be begging and waiting for our documents. And I'm being general here without being too specific.
But I can be specific. We waited 2 point something years for building permit. I'm going to take an example.
You heard about the guy that got this in 2 weeks, just recently? 2 weeks.
Say again?
2 weeks building permit. 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Somebody got a building permit?
You don't got the money for that.
Wow.
And that's what's going on now in this country, is that I think we're up against outsiders who can afford to pay their way through, while we are the ones that politicians come to ask for vote. When the time comes now for permits, we have to sit and wait at the end of the line, even though we apply before all of those.
I'm going to give you an example, Harold, that got me baffled. You know where Kentucky Fried Chicken used to be in Phillipsburg?
It's not there anymore. I think
It
right across from the Island Bank.
ain't there no more. You know what's in there right now? A Chinese grocery.
Wait. You're telling me where Windward Island Bank is in town,
Yeah,
across the
Phillipsburg.
street is Kentucky. It's not there anymore.
No, Kentucky is not there. But the speed in which that place closed and the shortness of time within which those people get a permit to open a grocery really put me to ask questions.
So doesn't it confirm what I was telling you just a while ago? That
Obviously, you know, and I must say that, as a matter of fact, I want the public to know that I am supporting Dr. Messalina.
oh, from the U.S.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. That's great guy. Very good guy.
Dr. Messalina is a great guy.
And he's passionate. He loves it, Maarten. He has his
Yes.
passion.
The guy has a lot of passion. He's very good at what he does. I said, Doc, make sure we don't lose you as a doctor. He said, no. I'm going to stay as a doctor, but I'll work in Parliament to help the country. It's a new, from what I know, without saying too much, it's a new elan. It's a new group. It's a fresh breeze. The mistake the government make that's there now, they don't want to listen. They're doing as they please. And on top of everything else, greed is one of the biggest problems.
You covered that in your first book also. Greed.
Excuse me?
You covered greed also in your first book.
In my first book, I covered greed. Yeah, greed is one of our biggest problems. In the last Parliament meeting, I heard the chairman asking one of the ministers, because there's a motion of no confidence against this minister, show signs of contrition. You know, you can't be arrogant and be always right. Nobody could be always right. We are human beings with our faults. Show signs that you're sorry. Show signs that you're of contrition, and then they might have mercy on you. Let's put it that way, and don't bring the motion against you. But let's wait and see what's going to happen.
Well, I think most of us as Maarteners who are not in business don't understand the problems that we're going to be confronted with.
The average person, local, that isn't in business have no idea what we go through. We, including itself, without going into specific stories, we go through hell, let me call it that, to get certain things done, to get basic papers.
I give you.
And you know what hurts? Little simple things that shouldn't take a week, take months, take years. And you could sit down and see Mr. Corrado building hundreds of apartments.
And they're empty, by the way. A lot of things are just sitting there empty.
Well, they claim they are all sold out. Let's wait and see. Mr. Suri from Port-au-Prince, you see these people involved in all kinds of major projects. How to get these things done? You never see them downtown, but they get their things done.
No, they don't come downtown. The guys in town go down by them. So it's a different thing.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So.
That's a fact. And I don't mind these guys developing because according to Color, they can't live up the buildings and go with them. Okay? Sometimes I hear people say, I live in this country, I'm never gonna come back.
Yeah, but they're parking their money here, and it's safe to park your money here. The only safe place really is the United States.
Yeah.
And now St. Maarten.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Our tax regime makes it easy for them, basically.
And not only that,
right.
You don't have a political environment where guys run up at the hills with 2 guns and take over the government every couple of weeks. I tell people, I just gonna look at where the rich boys live. Sudi is a man of means. Mr. Sudi from Port of Plaisance. Mr. Corralo is a man of means. There are several Indians I know in this country that are men of means. Danny, Maksud, and so forth. They could live anywhere in the world. These men made good money working hard in St. Maarten and can live anywhere in the world. And guess where they choose to live? St. Maarten.
And we want to leave.
And we want to leave. So I tell people, you're doing something wrong, man. Pay attention. There are opportunities. You got to grab them.
But in all fairness, though, it's getting more difficult, especially when your government don't support and advocate supporting their own people. You see, yes, there are opportunities. And when I was young, I never asked any politician or no one for help. I went out and I did what I had to do. There was competition, and I love competition. But today, there's a lot of unfair competition. Competition that is supported by the government against you. That makes it difficult.
In synopsis, it's not easy. As I said, it's not impossible, but don't believe it's easy. Coming from abroad with a diploma used to mean a lot before. Today, coming with a diploma mean you got to grind.
Yeah. It's
and
rough.
if you grind, it's rough. You have 3 highly qualified daughters. My son is qualified. I know many people with highly qualified children, and really go through hell to get a foot in the door.
I have to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue speaking to Mr. Julian Rollocks right here on Oral Gibbs Live. Please stay with us.
In order to know what you want out of life, you need to observe, listen, and try it yourself. Promises, we can make it. If we work together, that's just how it is. Let's stand strong, and serve the land. Working hard as one nation, yes we can. The more difficult it is to achieve, the more satisfying it is to make it. Just believe in us, we'll see you through it all. Oh, never give up. Oh, never give up. We can make it.
never forget those who were there for you. And if you dream big, you might just achieve it.
The power to serve, standing for community. OGB got the power to serve, the power to serve. We got the energy. OGB.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
My guest on Oral Gibbs Live is Mr. Julian Rollocks. Mr. Rollocks is a politician, businessman, educator, author, radio program producer, and so many things. My good friend, Mr. Julian Rollocks, is here with me on Oral Gibbs Live. You know, I wonder what it's going to be like 10 years from now.
That's a wonderful.
I've never put a question like that in my life.
It's a wonderful dream, you know. Sometimes you lay on your bed and you really wonder what St. Maarten is going to look like in 10 years. Not 20, 30, 40, 10 years, over a lifetime.
Yeah.
The business community, and at the same time, it's a downfall but the salvation of this country. The business community is extremely aggressive. You know, you go in the other islands, you don't see such a robust, aggressive business community. And true that we have that robust, aggressive business community, the country is almost being run by the private sector. You know, the government isn't running this country because there's lack of leadership. You know, there's lack of sitting down. When are we going to sit down and talk? When are we going to sit down and look at what direction are we going in? But the business community, they are out there building, they're out there setting trends, they're out there looking at the future, they're out there building apartments, they're out there building houses.
But that community is not us.
That's not us.
You know, a few years ago, a young man was building in St. Peter's. He built some apartments, and he went through hell because he had to provide parking for every unit and everything else. And now today, if you're from outside, it's not an issue. If you're from here, they're going to ask you, well, how many parking spaces you have?
Yeah. You know, and these are things that got to change.
Yeah.
You know, we can't continue like this. You know, where outsiders are being favored over us. We can't continue there.
But unfortunately, that seems to be the order of the day, and it looks like we have to resign ourselves to what we have. You know, you said it's generational, the government,
Yes.
and to some extent I agree with you. But you see, an orange tree doesn't produce apples. So when you look at what's happening today, I'm not too surprised. Because an American guy said this. He said, they're all the same players and children from the same players. And he's been living here for a long, long time.
Billy D said something, and I keep repeating it. We have had local governments for the last 50 years. And look what we produce. The people that own government, They were local people. They were there for the last 50 years. And look what we produce. So we can't blame them. We got to blame our own. I'm happy. I'm really, really happy that people can't go around buying votes that they used to buy votes before. Okay, I'm not saying that it's all eliminated.
It's still happening.
It's still happening,
Yeah.
but not like before.
It's very sophisticated now.
Yes. They're going to front side and they give people money. People that become front side is foreign territory, and people come vote over here. It is sophisticated, and I surely hope that the justice system look into it, because we need some kind of balance in our democracy. We can't have a democracy with only a few benefiting, only a few got the power, only a few could say what's going to happen, while the majority just out there suffering.
The thing is, money is power.
Money is power.
And if you don't have money, you're powerless. Basically, unless you get the masses to revolt.
Not basically, it is what it is. If you don't have money, you're powerless. Oral, in closing, I believe the recommendation to our public: protect what you have. Whatever you have, what you have been able to build in the last 40 years, protect it with your life. Because even that they want. And we're not going to go into the details, but we know what we're talking about.
But I'm going to go a step further, though, because I think you need to know this. You see, they might want it. But when your government is in collaboration with these other forces, that's a dangerous danger. And it's happening now. And this, to me, when I said to you earlier that I'm worried because on the horizon there's a lot of danger for St. Maarten, you can't have a government who don't want your own people to keep what they have.
No.
Or to achieve anything. All government wants us, hey, I'm going to build you a little apartment in Dutch Quarter, Belvedere. You go in there, sit down, live, be a happy guy. That's it.
And
but you
please keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, but you're not going to be a player in this community. You're not going to be a business person. You're going to be a consumer, not a producer. I'm against that. Totally. And I know people were angry for me saying what I just said. Mm-hmm. But that's a fact.
No, that's what it is. It's going to take our generation, with the few years that God gave us, to pass on that mentality of don't just sit back and accept. Fight. You got to fight, Aaron, as a local person. You got to, what you have, don't sell it. Especially land.
I've been saying that for 40 years.
For 40 years.
And people got angry with me.
Wow.
I met a lady the other day, she said to me, Oral Gibbs, is because of you why I have my property, because I wanted to go and buy a car. And when I heard you back in 1991, she said, yeah, speaking about don't sell your property and everything else. She said to her mother, that money I'll buy a piece of land. Now she have a house in it. She said, because of you, Oral. So you see, I have never sold property in St. Maarten.
I have sold to pay the bank. I don't like the older bank.
No, that's definitely,
Okay.
that's okay. Everybody do that in a way.
You sell to pay the bank, but in terms of taking my property, my land, and selling it while I have children and grandchildren, it ain't gonna happen. Because when my grandsons come here, I want them to stand up on a piece of land and to clap their chest and say, this is my piece of land.
Yeah.
You know?
Very good way to think, Mr. Roy, because most old people don't think the way you're thinking.
Yeah. Well, They don't think generational. And generational is what we got to think, Harold. That's what we talk about all the time. How your daughters are going to do in this community. How are their children going to do in this community? Is there something for them? Is something left for them? How are they going to manifest in the coming 5, 10, 20, or 30 years?
Yeah, so it's kind of difficult, but I know other time my other guest is walking in, but I want to thank you for really coming in and being my guest. Always a pleasure having you. It's the first time I have you over here at the new studio. Hopefully we can have you back on the radio sometime.
Congratulations, I see that you have something. You've really done a lot of hard work. I commend you and your wife. And congratulations in the future. And expect an invitation to Strictly Business.
Definitely. I want to thank you again and much success to you and the family. All right? All the best.
Thank you very much, Harold. Thank you very much.
Good friend, Mr. Julian Rollocks. And that's it for now. I'll see you next time right here on Oral Gibbs Live. Till then, take care. Bye.